Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Erin Bies. I am a wife, I am a mom, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing and healed my way out of it. I left multi-level marketing in July of this year, although I can really look back into 2020 and really see kind of how that started to evolve. I'm absolutely grateful. And let me just throw out a disclaimer really quickly. Anything that I share in this video is of my opinion. It is based on my experience and it's part of my story. So if you are brand new here and you're already kind of intrigued, make sure that you click the subscribe button, click on the little bell so that you get notified when I have a new video, which is typically done every Wednesday, but don't hold me to it because I like a little bit of flexibility, but I can guarantee you one video a week. All right, so subscribe, turn the bell on, do the thing, comment below if you're excited about it, share with a friend, whatever feels right to you. I am going to link my anti-MLM playlist so that you can check that out after this video if you'd like to hear a little bit more about my story or how I left Pruvit or the car bonus or my experience in 13 and a half years of multi-level marketing. I will link that for you to binge on. I appreciate everybody, all the comments, all the likes, all of it. I appreciate you guys. Let's talk about the purpose of this video. It is not to bash or shame anybody. The purpose of this video is education, awareness, and also just know that there are people that are within this organization right now that feel alone and that feel that are down on themselves. And so if that is you, if you're in this current organization, if you are feeling that way, just know that you're not alone. And once you remove yourself, you'll be able to see that a little bit more clearly. Again, this is made for educational purposes. Everything is my opinion. And the purpose is to help people to steer clear of culty MLM teams. Okay, you can connect with me on all social media platforms. I am the most active on Instagram and it's at The Real Beast Mode. I will link that, or it's linked in the description, but I will also put it here so that you guys can easily find it. BIEStmodeLV on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, Erin Bies, and I have a podcast. So if you are into the podcast scene and you like to listen as you're driving, it's the Beast Mode podcast, and I have 3 seasons. That will also be linked below. You can check that out. And if you would leave me a 5-star review so more people can get it in their hands. All right. Without further ado, there it is. Let's get to what we're here to discuss today. And this is to talk about the Empire team that is within Pruvit. And what is the Empire? Because I have watched myself a lot of anti-MLM content that has mentioned this, that has asked what this question, or asked this question. What is the Empire? The Empire is the name of the team that was created by Jessie Lee Ward. Jessie Lee Ward is a public figure, so that is why I am saying her name and we'll be showing pictures. So stay tuned for that. And in fact, let's just do that real quick. Okay, so some of you are familiar with it. Her hashtag is BossLee. I think it's important for you to understand the history of our relationship a little bit. I am not somebody that is disgruntled and left the MLM scene because I was not having success. I was actually very successful. In fact, I was in the top 0.38% according to Pruvit's income disclosure, and I had zero awareness around that when I was in it. In fact, I felt like a failure. In fact, I felt like I wasn't doing enough, and I felt like I was missing a piece. And I think it's important for you guys to understand that, because within the anti-MLM community, there are a lot of people that are, I want to say, classified as, oh, they joined one company and it didn't work for them. No, we're talking about, I think it was 6 companies that I did over 13 and a half years, and I was successful. Okay, I just needed to put that in there because that has been coming up a lot, and I think it's important for people to understand that. Okay, so where did I meet Jessie Lee? Well, our former relationship goes back to the Slumber Parties days, which was my very first company. So this was about 2007 for me. Jessie Lee and I were both on the advisory board for the company. So we would be on the advisory board trips. We would see each other. We knew who each other was, but we didn't really interact with one another. She was at the time living in Maryland. I was living in New Mexico. And we were just kind of on different sides of the country. So we knew who each other were, but we didn't really spend time with one another. Fast forward to about 2016, and that was actually when I reconnected with her. Let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Slumber Parties was purchased by Pure Romance. I stayed for about a few months and then I left. And if you want more information about kind of my MLM journey, you can go back into my anti-MLM playlist and check that out. So we lost contact after I left Pure Romance. And then after that, I found her again on a Facebook Live, a product for her MLM company on a Facebook Live. And I sent her a message immediately and was like, oh my gosh, how you been doing? Like, what's going on? And we reconnected. I ended up joining Modere as a customer for a couple months. And then I was like, okay, I really want to get out of parties because I was with a different romance company. I really wanted to get away from parties and I wanted to get into like social media marketing, that kind of thing. So that was how we reconnected. Moving forward, I joined Modere as a, what do they call it? A social seller? We'll just say distributor. I joined as a distributor. I left parties behind. And by the way, if you want me to do like a deeper dive and share a little bit more about this, about the relationship that I had with Jessie Lee, just let me know in the comments. Just let me know. But that was how we reconnected. So from there, I was one of her leaders within her Modere organization, which was also called the Empire. And I was also listed on the lawsuit as a Jane Doe. So when Jessie Lee was sued by Modere, when she was terminated, and the lawsuit came about, I was one of those, I think it was 12 or 14 people or whatever that were listed as a Jane Doe in the lawsuit. And if you want a YouTube video about that, let me know. And from there, I actually was terminated a few months later. I think it was like 6 months later. And then we joined Pruvit in September of 2017. And there were lots of people that came over from Modere to Pruvit. I think that it's important because the story does keep changing through social media. In the picture, and I'm going to put the picture up right here. In this picture, there are 14 people. These 14 people attended the fly-in that Pruvit paid for. They flew us in, they wined us and dined us. Now I'm kind of like, wow, holy love bombing. I didn't see it at the time, but they were like, yeah, come over to our side. And that's exactly what happened. So there are 14 people in this picture, but there are so many other people that joined that, one, were not invited, or two, they weren't able to come. And so this is kind of my head nod, my shout out to all of those other people that seem to be left out of this story. Because that story does keep changing. It's like a game of telephone. It was 14 plus, then it was 8. And I think I've heard 7, 6, 4. I don't know. I've heard all kinds of stories. It just seems to keep changing. So there was 14 plus people that came over from Modere into Pruvit. And I just feel like that's really important. And again, here's the picture of the people in that fly-in. I think I had blue hair at that time. But this was us in Dallas. This was at a hotel. We had a meetup with the CEO and all of that stuff. All of us joined and we were wined and dined and all of that stuff. So that's the story of people joining from Modere to Pruvit. And the Empire obviously just became the Empire within Pruvit. And from there, we started to do what's called Empire University events. And I think it's really important that you guys understand that, how do I want to word this? We're just going to keep it moving. In order to teach at these Empire U events, which are just team events. They are not company events. Although when these first started, the CEO would come in, some of the doctors would come in, and there's all these different industry generic speakers that come. And here's the thing, in order for you to teach, so if you are a leader on the team and you are going to teach, how to sell more trials or how to recruit more or, mindset or whatever, you have to sign an NDA. I'm gonna let that marinate for a minute. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, right? Where does this come from? So when the first Empire U happened, and I don't remember the dates, I'll find the dates maybe or not, it doesn't really matter. Everything was cool. The second Empire U was actually when somebody that was on the stage ended up joining Melaleuca at the event and talking to a bunch of people at the event about Melaleuca. They joined. And so after that was when this NDA was set up. And essentially what it was a document. It looks like a Google document that, like, page 1 of this document was taken and page 2 was taken from here and there. And it was like all of these pieces put together. And then we were told to don't worry about filling it all the way out. Just sign it and email it back to me. 1, there was no witness. 2, it wasn't filled out completely, so it's not a legal document. But why did this happen? Well, it's because, in my opinion, it was a scare tactic to prevent people from leaving. Well, if you're going to be on stage, and I have a very strong opinion of why some of these industry, these MLM people get on stages. It's really about social media presence. It's really about it's really about recruiting. And so this is kind of, in my opinion, the same kind of strategy as what I see in the industry. These big leaders, they get up on stage at these industry generic events, and then they teach and they train or whatever, and all of these people flock to them. Well, what happens when they start talking about the business and you have somebody that's not happy with their company or their leader or their team or whatever? Now they're recruiting from being at the event. And so the reason the NDA, I just hit my mic, excuse me. The reason that the NDA was put in place was because it was trying to prevent that very same strategy that I know firsthand, specifically by a lot of these top leaders. Okay, so I find that interesting. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I would love to know. One thing that I noticed a lot was these always seem to conflict with company events. And I don't know if that was done on purpose. I kind of feel like it was. I feel like it was kind of like a power struggle. Like, oh no, we have our Empire U. You can't do the company event. You got to move the dates. This doesn't work. I've had this planned, whatever. I think that it was kind of this back and forth power struggle between Pruvit and the Empire, and specifically Jesse Lee. I think that was kind of done on purpose as like this power struggle. The other thing that was really interesting is that in order for you to even volunteer, and I don't know if any of this is still in place, this is just, again, based off my experience, in order for you to volunteer at this event. So like if you wanted to help people find their seat, or you wanted to make sure, seats were all filled, or you were helping with whatever, there's all these different committees within the Empire U. If you wanted to volunteer, you had to buy a 10-pack of tickets for $800. You had to buy a 10-pack in order to even volunteer your time at this event that you paid for. Yeah, I know. I feel the same way, but let me know how you feel in the comments. So those are the team trainings that they have. There is every Wednesday, there is a weekly training, and typically who speaks are the people that are having results at the time or new ideas. Whoever's selling the most trials or selling, getting the most new customers. When TikTok exploded, they were doing TikTok trainings. Maybe they still are. Whoever's recruiting the most, because that, especially the recruiting, that is what they want duplicated within the organization, because that's how you make money. Think about this. If you are in an MLM, or you were in an MLM, look at the commission versus the recruiting bonuses, right? So don't quote me on this, but if you were to sell a Pruvit starter pack, which is like $900. You make like $200. That hits your weekly pay. You don't have to wait for monthly pay. It's like $200 or $250. Whereas when you sell a box of keto nat to one, to a new person, you make $16. That's crazy, right? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. But most of the time on these weekly trainings, it's typically about selling or recruiting. There's a little bit of like mindset and things like that kind of sprinkled in there. It's really about selling and recruiting. There are other times when it's Jessie Lee that is talking, and I'm going to be really honest with you. It is really her sharing how awesome she is and shaming the people that didn't get on the training. She's shaming the people, in my opinion, to the people that are on the training. I know. It doesn't make any sense to me either, which is why I'm no longer a part of it. There used to be a minimum that needed to be in attendance before she would even start training, and would take up time just saying people's names. So if, people aren't on, she would just be like, hey, and she would just be spouting out these names, taking up time. And in my opinion, like, this was so disrespectful, because you're taking up these people's time that said, hey, I'm going to clear my schedule and attend this training, but because I don't have enough people to feed my ego on this training call, I'm just going to say your name so that you feel like I see you. But it's really because I need to have a certain amount of people on this training to make it worth my time, because, 400 people is not worth my time, or whatever number. True story, in my opinion. So sometimes there are industry generic trainers that come on, but the information that's shared is really just, in my opinion, for like social media likes. Like, take a screenshot, tag them on your social media, and then all of their followers follow them. And it's really just for social media. In multi-level marketing, there's a lot of, you do things for how it looks. So that's 100% what all of this is. Tag the speaker. Here's their Instagram handle. Tag them, let them know that they did a great job. And there's a lot of people that do speak, like there's somebody that is new to the company, or there's somebody that is, just hit a couple ranks, they're speaking, they're like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And it's the love bombing, you guys. It's love bombing all over again. Then within the empire, they have these chats, which a lot of multi-level marketing companies do as well. There's chats for different ranks. There's chats for different challenges for the month. There's a leadership chat. And in my opinion, the lesson was definitely not learned from Jessie Lee in the Modere lawsuit, because the same vile information when I was in the leadership chat was shared. So personal stuff, talking about other people, within the company, just all kinds of stuff. It's not a leadership chat. And again, this isn't my opinion, and it's based on my experience. But I don't think the lesson was learned from that at all, because it's the same kind of thing. So again, if you would like to hear more about that Modere lawsuit and what it was like being involved in it, what it felt like, how all of that kind of transpired, let me know in the comments, or you can message me on social media. But if that's something that you guys want to hear about, let me know. So, and again, I was one of the Jane Does that was listed in that Modere lawsuit. I think that's important. So it's definitely an inside perspective on what was going on at that time. The other thing that I believe is that Jessie Lee moves people under others based on how and if leaders help in these chats. She also does move people and that type of thing. People that she signs up, she moves them under other leaders to build, or because of their loyalty. I guess I'll just say it that way, because of their loyalty. She rewards them for their loyalty. Hey, thanks for helping so and so in the chat. So if it's somebody that you're continuously asking questions, like let's say I'm a leader and I'm helping in like the rank 3 chat. In that rank 3 chat, if there's somebody that I develop a relationship, Jessie Lee puts that person under that leader if they are eligible for that. But she also does move volume under specific leaders to reward them for their loyalty. Some leaders in these chats, if they have them for themselves or they're participating in the Empire chats, they do require you to send your monthly sales goals. And if you don't do that, you will be denied access to the chats or you will be removed. They redo them every single month. I think that that's gross because not everybody is in it. Like if you're in it for the community, why do you have to send goals? If you're in it because you want just free ketones, why do I have to send you my goals? Right. So then there's groups, and there's 3 groups. There is a customer group, there is a recruiting group, and there is a team training group. There's probably other groups since I left, but the customer group is where this feels very much like a bait and switch to me. And again, this is all based on my opinion. This is where you're going to see challenges. So it's like a 10-day water drinking challenge or a move your body challenge. This is where recipes for keto stuff is going to be. This is where they put in their befores and what they call before and betters. This is where they put all of the sales and all of that stuff. So if you have somebody that is brand new and they are like, hey, what should I do? Well, hey, we're doing a 10-day water drinking challenge. You should put up a post and see who wants to participate. So the bait and switch happens because then this person on this promoter's page sees that there's a water drinking challenge. Oh my God, this is awesome. Then they get added to the group and then they get bombarded with, oh, this is a ketone selling group. So I have had a lot of people that did not like that did not like how that felt. And they were like, wait, I thought this was just for a challenge. But then all of a sudden they're being pitched ketones. So, and I see this a lot and I have seen it a lot. And I would love to know if you have seen this as well. And I don't think that this is, in fact, I know that this is not just with Pruvit or with just the Empire. This is something that happens in multi-level marketing. Hey, let me know if you want a recipe group. And the next thing you know, you're being pitched their thing. That's one of their strategies. The recruiting group is really, it's like welcome posts when somebody joins, rank ups, people telling their story and tugging on the heartstrings and being super vulnerable. I'm sure that all of my pictures and stuff are still in there. And I can't imagine how cringy those were. In fact, I am getting ready to do some videos on some of my old training and reacting to some of my MLM training. So that should be pretty interesting. I do also want to say that I would really love to see how many people within that customer group are one-time customers, how many are existing SmartShip customers, and how many are promoters, or the orders, I guess I should say, are promoters that are ordering under a ghost account, under a fake customer account, because I know firsthand that does happen because I was coached. Anytime you're going to order anything, it needs to go under your ghost account, which was in my husband's name. Some people had their kids. I know Jessie Lee has accounts that have her under her dog's names. So everybody, that's a standard within this organization. Then there is a team training group where they upload all of the training or campaigns, events, stuff like that. My thoughts on these groups is control and groupthink. I believe that the reason that they are filtering everybody into one area is because they don't want anybody thinking differently. They want to create this chaos and these notifications that are going off. Sure, you can turn off your notifications on your phone and stuff, but when you get on your phone and you see that there's however many notifications, you're already super overwhelmed. So it's just easier for people to just be constantly plugged into it, so that they are creating this chaos and people can't really look at what's going on and ask themselves, well, hey, why is this so chaotic? And it's just to encourage groupthink, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on that. And again, I do feel like these groups are a bait and switch with recipes, challenges that also stem from generic Facebook posts. So let's talk about the Empire at Pruvit events. And again, this is all based on my opinion. So the Empire has their own kind of, I'm going to call it a gang sign. It's not really a gang sign, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to put a picture here for you guys to check out. This was meant to be very disruptive from the beginning. This was something that was we need to let them know that we're here. When I was a part of it, this was something that was, we are going to come in and take the crown. And it was a very intentional thing. And so anytime we were at an event, it was, let's make a scene. Let's throw up the crown. And you can see in the picture, this is the symbol. I will no longer do that, obviously. But it was for what Pruvit teaches and trains at these events, that it's one team. This feels, in my opinion, now that I look back on it, like it was something that was meant to be like, we're here, you're going to see us, you're going to listen to us, and you're going to feel us. And that's cool. Everything in MLM is competition, but it definitely goes against what Pruvit stands for, talking about one team. The other thing with attending events is that if you don't attend the events, then you aren't taking your business seriously enough. And therefore, you are not worthy of their time. So if it is somebody that does coaching Zooms, well, when was the last training you attended? What was the last event you went to? Oh, you didn't. Yeah, okay. Here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to sell a trial, and then I will do a coaching call with you. If you're not attending the events, if you're not attending the training, then you aren't taking your business seriously and you're not worthy of their time. That is what I saw over and over again. That's what I was coached to do. Everyone has their own hashtags, which I think is the very reason that I am getting away. If you guys have followed me on Instagram or Facebook for a while, you know that I have a hashtag beast mode that I used for a long time. But as I got away from MLM, I was like, my name is Erin Bies. I am not a hashtag. And so I have started to move away from that. But if you look at all of the leaders and the people that join, they're either trying to figure out what hashtag they want, or they have a hashtag that is kind of like that pseudo, like Beyonce does, where it's like a stage presence. That's essentially what this is. A lot of them have colored hair. And I'll just be honest with you guys, there's a reason that I didn't color my hair for a year and a half, and it was because I did not want to be associated as being a part of this team anymore. It's why I didn't do it for so long, and it's only been here recently that I've been like, you know what, I really loved how I felt, and now that I'm no longer associated with any MLM, now I can say, well, I'm coloring my hair because I like it. I'm not coloring my hair to be fitting in with what other people are doing. And I used to get asked all the time when I was at an event, oh, you must be part of Jessie Lee's team. And it was like, hi, my name is Erin Bies. Hi, my name is Erin Bies. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But now that I'm not associated with that, I can be my own person. I can think for myself, and I can color my hair and enjoy coloring my hair because I'm not doing it to be a part of something. So those are some of the main points that I have. Overall, if you are looking to join the empire, and this is again, in my opinion, based off of my experience, I would say buyer beware, because you are going to be guilted into sending a ton of messages to people over and over again. You're going to be shamed if you don't attend all of the training, because how dare you have a life? You are going to be subjected, yes, there it is, subjected to toxic competition within the organization, within the team, and in my opinion, amongst leaders for sure. As you start to, if you're, some of the 1% that actually sees success, you're going to feel that too. You're going to feel that toxic competition amongst leadership that claim to be family. So people are, this blows my mind. And every time I hear about somebody else moving to Dallas, I want to throw up. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, because people are moving closer to Jessie Lee because they think that it's going to help them move forward in their business. It makes absolutely no sense. And I will tell you, because I've seen it, that when you move, you literally just become another assistant or staff or somebody that becomes a part of her yes circle. That's what you're going to do if you move to Dallas. So if you're thinking about joining, please don't. And that goes for any MLM. I don't think that anybody should be joining an MLM. I think there's so many different ways that you can make income. But I will say that a lot of the people that you see within this team that are having success are part of those that got in early. It is shown so many times that in order for you to have success within a multi-level marketing company, you have to be one of the first in. And that is exactly the case here. They are, some of them, being built by their leaders for their loyalty and for helping in the chats. And I know that firsthand, again, in my opinion. MLMs are predatory, and I think that this team is probably one of the most predatory. You guys are better than any team within any MLM company, and you deserve so much more. So there you have it. That is my take on the empire within Pruvit, the team that I used to be on before I left multi-level marketing. I just want to take a second and thank you guys for being here. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you turn on the little bell. Give me a thumbs up for this video if you were like, yes, yes, yes. Let me know what kind of videos you would like to see moving forward. I'm really, really close to my goal of 4,000 watch hours. So thank you. Now go binge on my other videos. I appreciate you guys. And again, do not send any hate to anybody involved with the empire or in Pruvit. That is not how we get down. That is not what we do here. This video was meant for educational purposes, and it is based on my opinions and my experience from being on the team. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, friends.